And welcome back to the Late for Loadin podcast. I'm Chris. I'm here with my co-host Josh. And on this week's episode, we have our first front of house engineer guest. His name is Bob Strakele, and he does front of house for a couple bands you may have heard of before, mainly Slipknot and Avenged Sevenfold. I believe he also said AWOL Nation and a handful of others over the years. But his current gig right now is Slipknot. And this is a super cool episode. I mean, one of my main goals with this episode personally, and I don't know about you, Josh, but is to kind of demystify what it is we do here in the music industry as a whole. And I kind of want to show that you can have a career in any corner of the industry. You don't have to be in a band to have a job in music. And so kind of like having Mickey on and within our first few episodes, it's really cool to get other crew guys into the conversation and figure out how they got to be where they are today. Because, not everybody starts their front of house mixing career by working for Slipknot, so it was really interesting to hear how he got to where he is today.
It's cool because when we first started toying with the idea of doing this, it was not only targeted to the guys and girls in the big bands, right? Fortunately, we have a lot of relationships that have led us to some of these bigger name guests, but we also have a ton of relationships with people behind the scenes like myself and crew guys that make these shows that all these people go and enjoy happen. And like you said, I think it's super important for us to bring awareness to the fact that you don't have to be a talented musician to work in this industry. And I just think it's cool for people to hear those journeys as well, because it may resonate with somebody.
Absolutely.
And, I was fortunate enough to be at Bob's last show with Slipknot for the cycle. It was fucking awesome. It was pouring down rain, so sorry Bob and Sankus. We should probably bring up Sankus too before we'll
give some love to Sankus.
I'm sorry I did not go to front of house. It was pouring down rain and I did not want to get wet. But the show was fucking awesome. It was awesome. It was awesome, and that was my first time getting to meet Bob in person, which also was, I wish I got more time to talk to him. But as we were talking, the big boss, Corey Brennan, came over, and it, you know how it goes.
Yeah, you're not important. He had to tell you to shut the fuck up and go away.
Very much true, probably.
No, that's not true.
But anyway, yeah. So let's get into it. Shit.
Yeah, fuck it. Enjoy this week's episode with Bob Strakele, front of house engineer for Slipknot. This episode of Late for Loadin is brought to you by Rockabilia.com, your go-to destination for 100% official band merchandise. No bootlegs, no cheap knockoffs, just authentic gear straight from the bands you love. From metal and punk to classic rock and beyond, Rockabilia has over 500,000 items in stock. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, patches, and even rare, hard-to-find collectibles. If you're looking for something exclusive, Rockabilia drops brand new limited edition merch every month. So if you see something you like, grab it before it's gone. And in fact, we just placed an order for some new merch ourselves. I picked up a very, very cool Linkin Park Meteora hoodie. Josh, did you grab something?
Yeah, I grabbed a couple things. I got a super limited Eminem tour shirt, and then what you mentioned not missing out. I saw a Meatloaf tour shirt from 2005 that I really, really wanted. Unfortunately, I didn't have my size, so I missed out on that one.
Well, there you have it. Don't wait. Our friends at Rockabilia are hooking up Late for Loadin listeners with 10% off when you use code LOAD at checkout. So if your band T collection needs a refresh and you want to support the artists who make the music we love, hit up rockabilia.com, load up your cart, and drop in code LOAD, LOAD, for that sweet discount. Now let's roll today's show. Bob Strakele, welcome to the Late for Loadin podcast. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your day. You're busy mixing a record. I'm not sure you can even really talk about it at the moment, but you took some time out of your day from mixing a pretty cool record to chat with us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I really do.
So we go way back with Sankus, and when he said, I'm not available, but Bob is, we're like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's my right hand man.
I'm sorry that you're stuck with him, but hey, he's.
Nah, we need each other.
I
I have so many Sanka stories.
We all do. Everyone does. Everyone who's ever played in heavy music has a Sanka story for sure.
That's true.
He was a guy that, like, when he came into my life, I didn't have a story about him. And I was in a situation where I needed like a new system engineer assistant, and we were doing a bunch of festivals where he was the guy at the festival, and it was just like, all right, man, like, this is working. Like,
Yeah.
you want to come, pack your bags and get on the bus, and that's how I met him.
How long has that been now?
It's probably like 3-4 years or so.
Oh wow. Okay, great.
We have a very good, like, team atmosphere in the audio crew that we try to keep together. So, like, my idea is, like, I want my system tech, I want the same stage guy, the same,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
we just try. The only variable is the band is kind
Sure.
of like my philosophy, so it's like, we can go into any band and just show up and smash it out because we already have a system, so Sankus and I have kind of developed that relationship where we both know what we got to do. He knows what I'm looking for. I know what, like, we can just read each other's minds,
Yeah, that's great.
It's a cool relationship.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so you bounce, I mean, your two main gigs right now are Slipknot and Avenged, is that right?
Yeah, Avenged isn't working like a ton this year, so
Sure.
it's been mostly Slipknot. But yeah, we just got back from Peru like last week with Avenged, so it was good to see those guys again, and then we'll see what happens moving forward. Like, it's the schedule gets a little crazy because we're both in Europe at the same time.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Sully's going to be mixing Avenged while I'm doing Slipknot, and then we'll be done in July.
Gotcha. So I get my question was going to be, does Sankus bounce between both bands with you, or is Sankus just, so he does? Okay, cool. Even better. I mean, that's cool that you guys get to be a package deal like that, especially because that like, like you said, and that being on the road, and we'll get into this more later because I want to like get into like what your responsibilities typically look like on the road, but that gives you guys way less variables when you're going into a different room every day, different country lots of times. You know that, like, Sankus already knows what you're gonna want out of him, and it streamlines all of the extra BS that comes with, like, the variabilities of just how crazy tour can be day to day.
And we tour with the same, the same front of house system, the same PA, like, between both bands. It's like, it's almost, and we prep it together. So it's like, we've got a system that works well between both bands.
Nice.
So it's cool.
Sankus owes you a percentage of his pay for bringing him along with you.
That's what it sounds like to me. That's what I'm picking up on.
I think so.
You know what? I honestly, like, my job, like, and I'm gonna admit this, like, I'm a creative guy. That's what I do. And there's a lot of technical things and networking and stuff like that that goes into the size systems that we're putting together. And I need him like he needs me. It's truly a team effort.
So it's a wash then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't think
I was trying to get you a pay raise, but that's all right.
I appreciate it. He deserves it more than I do. That's for sure.
Well, I guess we should start off from the very beginning here, because you are the first front of house engineer we've had on the show.
Yep.
So for anyone who may be listening who doesn't know, like, what exactly a front of house engineer is responsible for, can you just give us like a brief rundown, like just a super simple one? Because I want to go a little bit more detailed on what the responsibilities of a front of house engineer are later, but can you just give us like a quick rundown of like what the responsibility of a front of house engineer is?
100%. Like, there's traditionally two engineers. One does the sound for the band and one does the sound for the audience, and I do the sound for the audience. As you escalate into bigger and bigger situations, then it requires more skills, and your carrying your own PA and carrying your own desks and all that stuff, microphones, etc. But yeah, long story short, I'm the guy in the middle of the room with the big machine with all the buttons on it, and I'm responsible for what the audience hears.
Yeah, you're the guy that everybody should come yell at when the vocals are too quiet or whatever, right? Because you really love that.
Oh yeah.
To the untrained eye, the big machine with all those buttons is very fucking scary looking.
Yeah, it's just a lot of the same shit. It's just like,
right.
It's just like multiple inputs of the same amount of, buttons and whatever. Yeah.
I mean, even to the trained eye, when you think about
that's true,
how much, you know what? So I'll put it like this: I am willing to pay dumb money for a good front of house guy, and I'm willing to do that because they control the perception of the band to the crowd. Like your LD,
totally.
Your LD and your front of house guy, like that's everything, right? Because you can do everything you want on stage and you can play the songs better than they've ever been played before. But if your front of house guy sucks and it's being translated bad, game over. It doesn't matter, So I think you actually have one of the most important jobs as far as at least from the show perspective. Like obviously tour managers and booking agents and all like the show
stuff is important.
Right. The shows can't happen without those people, right? But like once it's showtime, I think that your job is possibly one of the most important and extremely stressful.
How stressful is it? I was going to say, how stressful is it?
I'm pretty comfortable now. Like I definitely had like a pretty big fuck up recently. Which was I just recently changed the console that I'm using for Slipknot, and I definitely muted the PA instead of muting the intro.
Oh yeah,
in front of about 40,000 people. So that was the first time where I was just like, whack, whoa, all right, yeah, you got to pay more attention.
Yep.
Because you get so used to your muscle memory of working on what you work on. I was on the same desk for 11 years and I was just like, I'm so fast on it. And I'm just used to it. And our first show, the first song of my first show on this new desk, I was just like, all right, Eloy does an 8 count. I go to mute the intro and I'm like, oh, everything just got quiet.
Oopsies. I mean, in the grand scheme of fuck ups, that's a pretty easy one. That's it's a pretty easy one to correct.
What was the reaction? And how long was it mute? Like, how long did it take you to? I mean, obviously, it was probably pretty quick, but
it felt like an eternity. But yeah, it was,
right,
it was like I don't know, a couple seconds. Like
yeah. Was the band pissed? Was anybody pissed?
They didn't even know, honestly.
Oh, okay, great, cool.
I just went straight to the production office after the show was over, and I was just like, this is going to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm going to own it. You know what I mean? I'm a human. I'm gonna make a mistake every now and then. I've been with the guys now for about 500 shows, so it's like,
oh, were you the one right directly after Shirt?
Yes.
Okay, great. So when I toured Slipknot in 2015, he was their front of house guy.
Yep. So my relationship with Shirt started like because I would work with Avenged quite a bit. In multiple different capacities. I started as a carpenter. I was Zacky's guitar tech for a while. I was my first gig with them was mixing monitors because their monitor guy also worked for Manson. And then when Shirt was busy with Slipknot, I would get called into mix front of house. So when he passed away, it was just kind of like a natural progression, I think, for the bands because I knew the songs, I knew them personally, and and I knew the production manager is one of my oldest friends in my life. Like we played in bands together when we were in high school and stuff.
Is it still Jordan?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So with Avenged, Avenged is still Jordan Coopersmith. So yeah, it was just kind of a natural progression, and like Shirt Man was like, I got so much respect for that dude.
Right.
Like I literally have a picture of him on my desk, and I got a couple good luck charms on my desk. One is this little stuffed animal that my daughter put in my suitcase when she was about 2 years old.
Love
And
that.
then I got a picture of a shirt. And
Yeah,
I
that's
just
awesome.
every day when the intro's rolling, I just do like not necessarily a prayer, but just
Right. A
just
nod.
just like a dude. I'm just keeping your seat warm here. Like
Yeah,
this is
sure.
I got mad respect for that dude.
Because how long did he mix them for?
Slipknot, it was like 15, 16 years.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I
damn.
thought. Yeah, he was
Wow.
with them for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he was their Big Mick, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like what
right.
Big
yeah.
Mick is to Metallica, like Shirt
Right.
was and Shirt and Big Mick kind of grew up in the same club together in Manchester,
Right.
which is pretty cool story as
That's
well.
crazy.
But
Yeah.
that's how I got in the hot seat with those guys, you know?
It's awesome.
So you grew up in Brooklyn, is that right?
I didn't grow up in Brooklyn. I grew up in New York. I was born about 60 miles north of Manhattan. My both my parents are from Queens.
Okay.
A lot of my family's from Queens and Brooklyn. And I moved to Brooklyn when I was like 17-ish, just when I was like really getting into music.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot. I mean, I started playing guitar when I was like 5 years old, so I was always into that kind of stuff. And I built a little studio with my friend in upstate New York, and when I was like in high school. But yeah, my uncle Rich was like, my mom's got 8 siblings, and my uncle Rich is her youngest brother, and he's almost like my big brother.
Sure.
And so when I would go to shows and stuff, he'd be the one I would stay with, and he'd show me around, and it was cool, like seeing some cool punk shows in like the late '80s, early '90s and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, I moved there like 17 years old, and like I just moved out of the house early. I never had a bad issue with my parents or anything. We have a very tight relationship, but I was just like always a guy that just wanted to kind of be on my own,
Mhm.
and I love New York. Like I would go there every weekend. I would just take the train there and just hang out
Right.
because it was only an hour away or whatever.
Right.
So
How do you think that, skate culture and New York hardcore kind of shaped your identity and path?
I mean, the skate culture and I was a skater number one
Yeah.
Sure.
before I
Sure.
was into like so like early skate videos, VHS cassettes, tapes
Mm-hmm.
were like I would literally bounce down that music to a cassette because I couldn't find those records. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like those early skate videos. It's just like I like this song, and I would just blast them in my car, and it's like you hear the person skating in the background. It's
Right.
stuff like,
Yeah.
I saw Fugazi's like before the Margin Walker EP came out in '87 or '88. I saw them play at Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, New York, at in the cafeteria, and there was like 45 people there.
That's crazy.
That's when I was just like, this is killer. And then I ended up being friends with the people that ran the WVKR, which was the Vassar College radio station. And then I ended up working at a radio station. My first job ever was working at a radio station, and they had a cool little studio where they would like make the commercials and stuff. And I eventually ended up becoming like an assistant engineer there when I was like 15 years old. And then it's just like I didn't honestly know. It's like none of it made sense to me. It wasn't a career
Mm-hmm.
choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all of this was it just happened. And then when I moved to New York, the bass player Brian from the Bouncing Souls became like one of my best friends in the world. Like we were joined at the hip, and that was my first tour. I was
Oh,
working
wow.
at a studio, and I was making coffee at a studio. I wouldn't say I was engineering.
Sure.
I was a total rookie. I was working actually in the fine dining restaurant scene, but and at some point he was just like, "Hey man, like why don't you come on tour with us?" And I didn't know what I was doing at all. And
Right.
but it was just like, oh, I get to make some money and tour with my best friend. So that's what I'm going to do.
I mean, that's the best way to get into it, you know?
That's how I got into it.
Same.
That's how I got into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I did tours that were self-booked where I was eating shit. I'm paying to be on tour, basically, you know what I mean? But I didn't care. I didn't know what I was doing out there. I just wanted to be on the road doing music stuff with my friends. And I would never trade that for anything.
It wasn't a job.
Yeah, that's how mine was. Hey, you want to come be a tour manager? I don't know what that is, but sure. We'll figure it out as we go. And, that's what we did.
Hell yeah.
So you mentioned working at a studio. And like, how did you realize that audio was like the thing with music that you enjoyed? Like back then, getting a job at a studio also wasn't easy. I mean, I guess there were like more true traditional studios back in the day. Like, home studios weren't a thing. So you could go to like, your local recording studio and get an internship job and making the coffee, like you said. But at what point were you like, man, I think I would really like to like explore how you even make these recordings?
So like when I was kind of hanging out at the radio station, it was like early MIDI stuff, like seriously like prehistoric kind of shit.
Right.
And me and my buddy used to like just buy gear, and most of it was synthesizers and stuff like that. And then, learning how it all communicated and stuff just somehow like resonated with me. And then when I was in the city, a buddy of mine was just like, hey, like, you got some gear, you kind of know, like this studio needs an intern. And they had this big giant Neve console. And I was just like, oh man, like this is cool.
Yep.
And I was the guy like at the end of the session that would just like zero out the console and learn how to calibrate the tape machine. And I tuned the plate reverbs, and like, it was like 100% analog system. There was a time where like touring with the Souls just kind of slowed down. And then I partnered up with this guy, Dean Baltalonis, who's like, he was like the New York hardcore, like producer guy.
Right.
So, and we started the studio. It was me, Dean, Matt Henderson from Madball, and Mike Dijon from Crown of Thorns. We opened up Atomic Recording Company and just had a little studio in a commercial space in Brooklyn underneath the Manhattan Bridge. And, we just started banging out records. It's like, I mean, Dean was definitely the lead engineer.
Sure.
He is he's the guy that taught me, it's like, you got to pay attention to tuning drums, and you got to pay attention to like, you can't just press play and record. Like the source sound and the mic placement, all that stuff's extremely important.
Yeah.
And
it's like one of the things a lot of people don't realize when they start to get into recording is like, it's the sum, like a good recording, a good final product is the sum of like all the tiny little intricacies along the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But you need somebody with experience to like tell you that stuff, or else you may never figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't even let me like track drums until I learned how to tune a drum kit.
Sure.
He was just awesome. Like, you can do the guitars, you can do the background vocals, I'm doing the rest.
Right.
I'm like, okay. And then I would work on stuff, and I had like my hometown heroes in my studio that I owned. It's like, okay, we got sick of it all in here for 8 weeks, and it's like, we got Agnostic Front in here for 8 weeks or whatever. It's like, it was cool. It was like a very, very fun experience.
Yeah. What year would that have been when you opened the studio?
It was 2000.
Okay, so like
Y2K,
like tail end of like analog world, kind of slowly phasing out and maybe getting into the digital world of Pro Tools and stuff. Then
we had a Pro Tools Mix Plus system, but we also 99% of it was 2-inch 24 track.
Yeah.
So
for sure would have been the tail end of it. Stuff that like people like me never got a chance to put my hands on.
That was like such a cool era, because like, I feel like musicians now don't work hard enough on like the conviction to their performance, because like everything can be fixed. Everything can be fixed. Yep. It's like all these new records, they sound amazing, but like, it's not the real snare. It's not the real performance.
No. Right.
Everything's just like to a grid.
Yep.
And I miss that ebb and flow. And that's kind of like why mixing Slipknot's so fun, because it's just fucking chaos.
Yeah,
You know, it's 9 guys doing their thing without a click, without any time code, without any tracks, without anything. It's
Yep.
That's
just
pretty incredible.
it
I
is.
mean, they're a world-class band. They're the giants they are for a reason. You know, it makes sense.
Totally, man.
That's something that Josh and I just went to a music conference 2 weeks ago now or something like that, and I got put on a panel that was about recording, which is like I'm fully like unqualified to be on a panel with like Alan Dalchis and like all these dudes who like work in like Muscle Shoals, Alabama, doing like Grammy nominated country records. So, like I'm not supposed to be there, but
dude, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Damn.
Alan Dalchis.
Yeah,
dude, what the guy's a legend.
Oh yeah, the Big Blue Meanie, right? Or no, he's the mastering guy.
Yes, yeah.
From Jersey. Yeah.
West Side. Yep.
West Side. Yep.
But a point that I brought up, and I brought it up because I was curious if it was like echoed into other genres of music outside of just heavy music. But I feel like there is, and the answer was it's seemingly so. Yes, but my point was I've been seeing a lot of pushback and talk online recently about how modern records are becoming like everybody's really pushing back on this like hyper produced thing, and everybody I feel like there's like this switch that is like potentially coming where we start going back to maybe more raw feeling, either whether it's like less edited or just the mix is maybe a little less polished. But I feel like there's this like there's definitely some sort of dynamic shift happening right now where people are starting to be like, everything sounds the same, you know? And I feel like people are like wanting something that's got a little bit more vibe to it.
Because everything sounds so fucking perfect.
And that's not music.
I agree with that. I
am a sucker for all of it. Like I love everything from like self-titled Slipknot, where it's literally just like the desk mix for that Ross Robinson did, and it's like not even truly mixed, all the way up to like I love Zach Cervini production. Zach Cervini mixed my band's most recent record. I love all of it, and I think that there's a time and place for all of it. I think that when either one gets to be too much is when everybody's doing the one thing. Like we can both can exist in the same world, and I think that 100%. For whatever that people just find the trend and go that way rather than being like what best suits my creative vision for this project I'm working on. You know what I mean? I think that's the real issue.
It's all about the song,
exactly.
All about the song and the emotion that the song brings out in the listener.
Yeah,
and your arrangements and you can make it. My thing is like there's not a lot of dynamics in music anymore.
Everything's squashed to shit. And
everything's
in
just
your face
like
all the time.
Fucking sausage, and it's just like as a live mixer, I like when I know a part of the set list is going to go down in tempo.
Yep,
I bring it down in volume.
Yeah,
and then when the band walks off stage for a couple songs or a couple minutes because they got to take their masks off and wash up or whatever, just like take a breather. And I know there's a banger coming up. I'm just like, get ready, Sankus. Whack. And you create this visceral, emotion in people.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's funny to watch, like, when you work in like more pop kind of genres and stuff where it's just a 20,000 teenage girls scream. And it's funny how you can bring it down and they will react. They'll get quiet because they want to hear their favorite artist.
Oh,
and you can create this whole ebb and flow of emotions. Like that's kind of my vibe as a mixer. Like, Slipknot's pretty much full on the whole time, but like with other bands, I like to, especially with like Avenged, they have like some songs that have like a lot more space and like I'll just take it back a notch and just let the people enjoy it, and then smash them,
right. And that exactly plays into my point earlier of like your role is like so important for how the crowd perceives what the band is presenting to them. Like you are playing your console as an instrument. You are your instrument is the band. You know what I mean? And like you're riding faders and like doing all like what you do fully controls the perception of the performance to the crowd. And so like I I wouldn't want your job because I don't want that responsibility.
Well, it's. I mean, I feel blessed to be where I am in my career, but like everybody has an opinion, and there's definitely
Of course,
there's you definitely at the end of the show you'll get a high five from somebody and somebody just giving you the finger.
Oh yeah,
it's like,
how do you ignore that?
I don't, man. I honestly take it pretty personally.
Yeah. I was curious
that's
about
the human
that.
answer. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like because I do love what I do so much.
Yeah, you
and
care
like,
about what you do. Yeah.
yeah, and I during the show, like I become like emotionally, like you said, like I'm like part of the band. Like I'm just like I know this guy's gonna do a pick slide at this point, and this guy's gonna go over here at that point, and I need to make sure that it's more than just like the left right, but it's like forced perspective stuff as well, right? Like if somebody's walking the stage right, you want that image to kind of follow them a little bit, and so like with Avenged, it's a pretty heavily automated show off the stage.
Right.
So like Brian, the guitar player, will do a lot of panning and stuff, and we have to work together very closely to be like, well, it's coming out over there, but you're standing over there. So I need to like, we need to work on this. If that's how you want it. They want things very wide, which is cool. But in a live environment, sometimes you don't want to do that because you're, if somebody's standing in front of their favorite guitar player and he's ripping a solo and it's coming out over there, then they're not getting the right experience. So that's where my relationship with the band gets pretty tight.
I'm fighting every urge in me to get too nerdy for the scope of what our podcast is, but I'm going to ask one. I've always wondered that exact thing, right? When you're mixing in a studio, right? You've got your left and right. Obviously, everything centers technically coming out of both, but the listener's always technically in the perfect listening position that even
because I got these things in their ears.
Anything panned is still going to hit them. But in a live situation, that's exactly right. If you're not, you can very easily end up outside of the throw line of these PA speakers, right? So do you typically end up mixing stuff more mono than you would for like a studio kind of deal, or how are you making sure that you're okay? So like guitars, you wouldn't throw them like 100 left, 100 right. You would like pan them in a little bit. Okay.
No, they're panned in, and then I group them to like an all guitars group, and depending on the part of the song, like if it's a chorus and I know it's just got to blow up, like I'll take the diversions of the stereo and throw it out. But if it's more nuanced, I'll just collapse it. And then the front fills are always in mono, so it's like whoever's right on the barricade they're
going to get everything out of the front fill.
They're getting everything. The tricky part there is making sure that your stereo stuff
collapses down to mono well.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a whole other beast in itself.
Yeah, that's just physics. So you just got to play with timing and stuff like that. But I mean, Brian and I, like our main hangs will be left and right, but the side hangs will be right and left. So like pretty much wherever you are, you're getting a stereo image, and if you're right on the barricade, you're getting mono, and that's just what seems to work. When I first started working on Shirt's show files, like he was mixing straight up mono. Like it was wild how mono it was, but like the guy's a genius. Like it was. I mean, overheads were a little bit over here and stuff, but guitars and everything were just right up the middle.
I mean, in theory it makes sense, but it also like that you're fighting so much more to get stuff to not sit on top of each other that way. But like I said, I'm fighting everything in me to not go full dork here.
Let's go.
So you might have said this already and I might have missed it, but did you play in bands at any point, or did you just like end up in the music scene and kind of friends with band guys and that's what brought you into everything?
I played in a few bands. The only band I toured with was this Jersey hardcore band called Vision. It was this guy, the Pete Tabbitt, who was the kind of the main songwriter, took a full-time job, and I was working with the Souls, and they were touring a lot with the Souls. So I I became a touring guitar player, which was fun. It was like Todd from Warzone was playing bass, and we had a tremendous drummer. I mean, it was a lot of fun, but like I was honestly always just more interested in the technical side of things. Like,
Yeah.
I repair amplifiers and I, build amps, and like I just like taking shit apart, and
Yeah.
that's my thing. I do enjoy playing guitar, but it was never like my goal to be a rock star, right?
Sure.
Like at all.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a defined lane there. Like our guitar tech is a fucking wizard with guitar, working on them, but he also shreds. He has no desire to be a guitar player in a band. He just loves working on guitars,
Yeah.
And so like being a guitar tech is like the ideal job for him. You know what I mean?
I find it so fascinating because a lot of people are opposite. A lot of people, see the quote unquote rock star and want to be that. So it's interesting, myself included. I mean, I never thought about being a rock star, but I always wanted to be in a band. And then when I realized I wasn't good enough to be, I found my position in the industry somewhere else.
Sure.
I knew I belonged in the industry, but it's fascinating to hear that, you never really took interest in that side. You always kind of knew where your position was.
I just always, I like playing music with people, but it wasn't like a goal for me to like be a rock star. Like,
Yeah.
and honestly, like I never, it was never my goal to be a sound guy. Like I went
Sure.
to, I grew up like my first couple jobs were working in, radio stations. And then I worked in bakeries and I was a pastry chef. Like that's what I went to school for.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
I worked when I moved to New York City is because I was working in like a Michelin star restaurant when I was 17 years old. This
Crazy.
French chef took me under his wing, and that's what I did. And my first tour happened because all the rich people that came to our restaurant, they would go out to the Hamptons in the summer. So my restaurant would close for a month every summer.
Right.
Sure.
And that month was the same month that the Bouncing Souls were going on tour.
Oh, perfect.
And I was out to dinner with the guys, and they were just like, "You got a month off? Come be our sound guy." And the rest is history. Like
Crazy.
That's literally how it happened.
Well, so you go to school for like culinary stuff, and you get a job at a reputable restaurant. How the hell did your family feel when you pivoted into music?
Exactly what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, like I like that's quite the change up.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't so like abrupt. Like I started taking other restaurant jobs with the understanding that like, hey,
this is my main gig.
This is like kind of what I want to do.
Right.
And fortunately, I ended up working for some restaurants that were like, they were cool with it. They were just like, cool, you need a week off to go do 4 shows somewhere with your friends, whatever, go do it. Then it just became a thing, like we're talking like 1998 when I was working with the Souls, and it was like, Epitaph and Fat Records and all that shit was like, that was popping, you know what I mean? And it was just like, okay, now I'm out with No Effects. Now I'm out with this band. And it was just like, this feels good, Yeah, my parents weren't like, I wouldn't say they were stoked, but they supported me for sure.
That's cool.
I mean, they definitely funded my culinary school, and it probably wasn't great that they felt like they lost some money or whatever, but
I would have to imagine that they understood once it turned into a legitimate career. Like I'm sure that
totally.
Like most parents, they obviously would want you to like follow your passion and what you love, but they're concerned that like no one thinks you're ever going to really make money in the music industry. So I'm sure that there was just concern.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're 17 years old working in the most expensive restaurant in Manhattan, and now you're going to give that up and get in a van with these dudes with mohawks and
Right.
It's like that's what I wanted to do.
I want to touch on some stuff on CBGB's because that is obviously a legendary venue. We all have. I think if you're not even a part of music, you've heard of CBGB's.
For sure,
and know what CBGB's is, and
it's a culture.
Yeah, it's a venue I never got a chance to go to. It was always on my list, but I just never got an opportunity. It's kind of like our auto bar, you know, like it was, you know.
Is that where you guys are, up in Baltimore?
Yeah,
So
that's where we
he
grew up.
moved to Florida, but Josh and I grew up, going to shows in Baltimore and stuff.
Yeah, I've probably seen everybody at the auto bar.
Pretty much,
That's probably where we've met each other before.
Could be. I tried to get Chris to go to plenty of shows when he was a kid, but he always declined.
We're not going to do that in this episode, dude. We're not doing that on this one.
It's just one of those things. I'm a little older than him, and my parents let me go, and his mom was.
Did they let you, or were you just a fucking degenerate and went anyway?
Probably both. Probably a little bit of both.
That's fair.
Probably a little bit of both.
That's fair.
What was that like mixing the Agnostic Front DVD from CBGB's?
So Dean, my partner, mixed most of it. So 2004, I bought a Pro Tools. What was it called? The Mix Plus system, the 888 converters, and I toured with that, doing multi-track recordings for the Warped Tour. So I had this rig. I had this fucking giant rack that I was doing shit on the Warped Tour with. And then, we knew the AF guys, and they were just like, hey, we want to do this live DVD. So I was the guy that had the gear it was already packaged to be a mobile unit, So I took this 24U rack and I tipped it on its side and I slid it down the stairs in CBGB's into an office in the basement that they had, and somehow, like, it was funny because I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, I don't even know how we made it work logistically, right? Because CB's was it was just so, it was like a dinosaur of gear. Everything was just like, it wasn't set up to do live recordings. So we must have brought a splitter in there or something. And, but I had this giant rack in the basement, and, we just brought in a mic package and did it. Like, it wasn't anything too crazy. Like, it was all mixed in post. So,
sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a board mix,
Right.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Like, we were taking a split and going through some proper stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it was super fun. We ended up overdubbing some stuff.
I mean, that's basically every live record ever for the most part.
Dude, with that one, and especially that particular show, it's like every microphone had 10 goons fucking singing into it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh my God. Like, this is so I don't think we overdubbed any vocals, but I know we did like some of Stigma's like guitar solo, just punch-ins and stuff.
I mean,
nothing crazy.
Stuff like that's been going on since, like, AC/DC live records and stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, it's live, but it's likely had something punched in over top of something somewhere.
Yeah, and when Stigma fucking jumps off the stage head first with his guitar in his hand, it doesn't sound like music anymore. Like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, we, the Ghost Inside put out a live record of our first show back, and whoever came in and was the live engineer recording off of I don't even know why we did it this way. We should have just recorded off of the desk, but the label brought in a separate guy just to track the audio. So he did the same, split everything off. He was getting his own sends. At some point in the set, he lost the snare top mic and never bothered to figure it out. So it was dropped on me to clean up the audio for that before we sent it out for mixing. And so I had to go in and put MIDI hits on every single snare hit throughout the entire song, or the entire hour and a half set, and try to
How long did that take?
I don't even want to talk about it. It was a fucking miserable process, dude.
I want to talk about it.
It took weeks
to the minute.
What'd you do? Did you send it off the bottom?
So I did some of that. There was also there was a lot of snare in the rack tom mic, so I was able to get some of it off of that too, and some of it just had to be like for snare rolls and ghosty type stuff. I had to just go in and try to zoom in on the waveform and get it as close. And to be fair, I also sent it out to a friend at one point. I was like, "Can you fucking finish this? Because if I do any more of this, I'm going to just light my entire studio on fire. Please do this for me."
That's what I'm going through right now, man. I'm just like, you start to lose context, you know. And
you ever have to just put it down and walk away and come back?
I only did that once, and but it was because I was like super sick with COVID, and I was in the hospital and stuff, and I was doing a Guar record, and I was just like, guys, like, I've been in the hospital for 12 days. You have a deadline. Let me just send you the hard drives, and like, I don't want to disappoint you, you know?
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, that situation's completely out of your hands. I have to imagine they completely understood
right,
that.
But
one.
I felt so stressed because I was just like, I was trying to make it work. You know what I mean? I would like come home from the hospital, and I had that long COVID stuff. So like my lungs were like the blood in my lungs was like pudding. Like it was just like thick, and it felt like somebody was sitting on my chest, and it was horrible. But yeah, it was like I would come home and I'd be exhausted, and I'd try and work on it, and finally I just had to call management and just be like, I'm not the guy for this right now. You know, like I need to take care of myself.
Was that a studio record or a live record?
It was a live record.
Okay.
It was live in a studio. It was their they did a Halloween live stream thing.
Okay. Yep.
And then there was like a bunch of stuff for Adult Swim that we were doing.
Okay.
But yeah, they did like a full like live stream for Halloween.
Sick.
So it was done in a studio and stuff, but mixed live essentially. It was in like a warehouse. It wasn't a recording studio.
Right.
So do we have our facts straight on this, that you mixed the very last show at CB's?
The last one that was on sale, yes. The following day was like sort of an invite only, where it was like Blondie and David Byrne and stuff like that. But as far as I understand, yeah, it was Bouncing Salt and Bad Brains, and that was like the last ticketed show.
That's a pretty honorable
it is.
achievement.
Dude, I have a picture on my Instagram of me zeroing out the console for the last time.
That's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you get to take anything from the venue that you still have, or no? Any relics?
No. I mean, I got some bits. I probably have some posters and stuff, but you know, like I said, like I didn't understand the relevance of it. It was just part. It was just part of my life. Like it was like, you know, me and Brian from the Souls are like, it was just like that's where we would just go on Sundays.
Yeah,
like every Sunday was the hardcore matinee, and sometimes you'd go inside, sometimes you didn't. Sometimes you just show up and have a slice of pizza out front and just chat with people. It was just like a meeting place, you know. It was like back then it was like pre-internet. You know, you'd pick up the Village Voice on a Wednesday, and you'd see who's playing, and you'd be like, okay, let's go to CB's or to Coney Island High or whatever, you know. And I didn't understand the cultural relevance.
Yeah, I wonder if it was one of those things where it was like almost more romantic to people who weren't local to there. You know, like you know, people who it's not just part of your regular, you know, everyday life. People who like just see all of these legendary shows and like bands that got their start there and stuff. Like to any of us who are like outside of that little bubble, it probably seems a bit maybe more romantic to us because it wasn't, you know, just our stomping grounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like where we would hang out. Brian's lady at the time owned a tattoo shop, like literally a block behind CB's, and CB's had like a record store. Then there was the club, and then there was a pizza place, and that was all within the same four walls. And it was like that's just like where we would go. We would ride our BMX bikes, get a slice of pizza, go down to this Mexican restaurant that sold margaritas to go, and you know, and just ride around the Lower East Side drinking margaritas on our BMX bikes.
So good.
It's we were talking to Jesse from Killswitch last night, and this came up. I'm just so up. I feel so bummed that these kids, today's generation, don't get to experience that cultural. What is the word? Movement almost like that. That shit was like our, you know, like it didn't matter who was playing. We just wanted to go to the show to meet people and have fun, and that was like our life. And now they just don't have that sense of community like we had back then.
Well, we didn't have the internet.
Right.
And now, you know, people are so disconnected from each other because there is no social interaction. Like if I wanted to see my friends, I went to
You
the
had to
tattoo
go.
shop, or I went to
Right.
the club, or I went to wherever, you know what I mean? Or I got on my bicycle and we met and we went to a pub, or we did something
Right.
together where we looked at each other and we spoke with each other. And now it's just like stare at your phone, and it's
It's so
scary as
interesting.
a parent too, man.
It
Like
absolutely
Totally.
is. But it's so interesting how they are so connected that they're disconnected, because you're connected eternally by the phone. You know,
Yeah.
like we can text anybody, and like right now we're doing something together, but we could also on the side text somebody and have a completely separate conversation. So we're so connected that it's forcing these, and I guess some parents are guilty of it and adults are guilty of it too, but primarily kids or teenagers are the ones that are really, really being consumed by it. But man, it's fucking depressing.
Yes.
It is depressing, and it is like, as a guy that travels the world too, like I noticed that it is more of an American thing than
It is.
Oh yeah.
most.
It
Like
is.
when you go to Europe or to Asia or whatever, and you sit down at a restaurant, the families are there and they're looking at each other in the eye and they're talking.
Yes.
And they're having
Engaging. Yep.
and when you go to a restaurant in where I live now in Richmond, Virginia, everybody's fucking on their phone.
Yep.
Like,
Absolutely. You can have
mom,
a family.
dad, every kid.
Yep.
Every kid's got an iPad. And it's just like,
It's like lazy parenting. Well, that's what we call it. We call it lazy
Yeah.
parenting.
it's crazy, man.
It's fucked up, man.
It
It's
is.
fucked up.
Yeah. That's the way. And now with this AI shit going on, it's like,
Gosh,
who
it's
knows?
fucking
Like, are we even
fucking
going to
scary,
have,
man?
like, people even going to know how to do anything anymore? You know? Like,
You don't have to. It's
yeah.
insane. We were making a joke the other night about a zombie Atlantic cod, and it was literally a joke. And we were saying something, I'll put that on a t-shirt. So I just go to ChatGPT and type in zombie Atlantic cod, and it spit one out in under a minute.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. Like,
Dude, I'm messing around with this desk behind me right now. Like,
Yeah.
It's just, I'm just kind of learning how to use it. But like, this
Yeah.
thing has like, it's online and it has like AI on it. So you can go, this is the kick drum, and it'll basically listen to it and do shit to it. It's just
Now,
like,
fucking wild. Man.
how good is it though?
I don't mess with it.
Okay. I didn't know if you had tested it at all or not.
I haven't yet, honestly.
Today's show is sponsored by Bestronix Pro Audio. Let's be real. Your rig is only as solid as the cables running through it. Whether you're touring the world or building out your dream setup at home, you need quality cables that won't let you down. That's where Bestronix Pro Audio comes in. BTPA specializes in full tour rig builds, custom cabling solutions, and if you're the hands-on DIY type, they've got bulk cable and connectors so you can wire up your own setup exactly how you want it. Everything they make is road-tested, built to last, and trusted by the pros. And because you're part of the Late for Load In crew, BTPA is giving you 10% off your order. Just use the code LFLI10 at checkout and save on the best cables in the business. So don't let bad cables kill your tone or ruin your set. Hit up btpa.com, lock in that discount, and keep your rig dialed and ready for the road. Attention musicians and aspiring music industry folks. For nearly 2 decades, Launch Music Conference and Festival has been gathering thousands of musicians, industry professionals, and music fans together for a weekend of learning and playing together.
Launch focuses on industry education by day and live music by night, with over 100 acts over 3 nights and 2 days of educational panels and networking with some of the most learned, approachable, influential, and aspiring industry pros.
Get to Launch and launch your career to new heights.
Party with the most fun people in the world and see tons of bands across all genres.
Take part in Launch in Dallas, Texas, October 2nd through 5th, 2025, or Launch in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, April 23rd through 26th, 2026.
Submit to perform, register for the weekend, or get music passes and tickets now at launchmusicconference.com.
We all know that music isn't just sound. It's connection. It's healing. It's everything when you're feeling lost. That's why Late for Load In is partnering with Heart Support, the nonprofit founded by Jay Klurs of August Burns Red to bring real, free peer support straight to you.
Are you feeling down and need someone to talk to? Just text Late for Load In to 1-512-647-2871 and get connected with someone who understands. Someone who gets how music pulls us through the hardest times. It's totally free, totally judgment-free, and 100% 100% about supporting you through the music we love.
And if you're in a good place right now, you can be part of healing the scene. Heart Support is looking for volunteer repliers, fans like you who want to help others through the power of music. You'll be trained to support fellow fans who are struggling and join a community built on connection, mental health, and the music that keeps us going.
And again, if you need support, text Late for Load-In to the number 1-512-647-2871. If you want to be support, sign up at heartsupport.com/volunteer. Together, we're making this scene stronger.
Today's episode is brought to you by you, our incredible listeners and patrons over at patreon.com/LFLIpod. By joining, you'll get early access to episodes, exclusive monthly giveaways featuring rare memorabilia from Josh and I's time on the road, and access to our patron-only music review and reaction live streams. But that's not all. You'll also get into the Late for Load-In Road Crew Discord, where you can connect with fellow fans, submit guest requests, and drop your questions for the show. The best part? It's just $1 a month. If you love what we're doing and want to help keep the show rolling, head over to patreon.com/LFLIpod and join the road crew today. Now, back to the show.
Speaking of AI, have any of you tried like asking ChatGPT or any of these AI programs anything personal about yourself to see how much it knows? I have not, but
dude,
it just
that is scary.
Nope, because that's nightmare
I know,
fuel. That's
but I don't know
Skynet
why.
shit. That's
I don't know
Skynet
why
shit.
I
Don't
just started thinking about it, but I just was like, man, I wonder how much that motherfucker actually
probably
knows.
more. I mean,
Then I
look,
want to know that he knows.
all of our personal
know.
shit is all over the internet, whether we like it or not. So ChatGPT knows everything about all
Dude,
of us.
that's a crazy man. You just scared me.
Yeah,
I know. I
fucking
scared my
terrifying.
damn self. I scared my damn self. All right, Chris, go to the next section of this. I'm getting ready to hang up. I'm scared of this now.
We also heard, correct me if I'm wrong, if our source was incorrect here, but
Sankus.
yeah, we heard you were part of throwing raves under the Brooklyn Bridge back before Dumbo is what it is now. What inspired that, and what were those nights like?
I didn't throw the raves.
Okay,
but
see,
Sankus
fucking
has us all
Sankus,
fucked
man,
up.
Well,
Sankus
He's
is
got me all
fired.
fucked up.
So I ran in a circle with, and this is the same people that came from WVKR, that Vassar College radio station.
Sure.
They all moved to. We all kind of moved to Brooklyn at the same time, or Manhattan, or whatever. Jordan was involved in that scene, and like I said, all my early studio stuff was synthesizer based.
Right.
Like, so I just my circle of friends threw a lot of raves.
Okay.
I didn't personally do it, but like I just hung out with a lot of DJ, and that was like a tremendous time of my life too, because it was still very punk rock as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, this is like an illegal space, you know, and
Yeah.
it was like what he told you is true. Like, it was literally the anchorage of the Brooklyn Bridge on the Brooklyn side. So where the bridge hits, the land,
Sure.
they have all these cables, because it's a suspension bridge, that go into an anchorage. And
Wow.
you have these giant cables that are need to be anchored to something.
Right.
And there was raves there, and I was
Crazy.
definitely part of it. Jordan had an apartment right across the street, actually, which was killer. He was above a auto body shop, and his roof, we had a basketball court, and it was the Brooklyn Bridge was right over it. And it was a
And what a location.
beautiful view of downtown Manhattan. But yeah, I mean, that story probably came from Sankus and I walking around Dumbo,
Sure.
and me going, that's the entrance to where we did the
Right,
raves.
right.
Can you explain to a dumbass what Dumbo is? Because I have all day been thinking about the fucking elephant, and I know that's not what it is.
No, it's down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass.
Oh,
So
I got you.
The
So
Manhattan
it's not the
Bridge. No.
Okay. Okay.
That neighborhood is where the Manhattan Bridge and the Brooklyn Bridge almost converge in Brooklyn. They're a bit more spread apart in Manhattan, and they kind of come together. And there's a neighborhood under those two bridges, and
Damn,
that's
that's
Dumbo.
cool.
That's where all like the cobblestone streets and like every movie's filmed down there. That's where
Yeah,
my
I gotta
studio
check that
was.
out.
At what point did you make the shift from being a primarily studio guy to being a primarily live audio guy?
It was couple things happened at the same time, but most of it was that my partner Dean was the primary engineer, and he was getting the bigger records, but also at the same time it was when like Napster came out.
Yeah.
And the I forget what that first Digidesign box was that came out, like the M box.
The M box, yep.
So all of a sudden we went from bands coming in for 6 weeks to bands coming in just to do drums.
Yep.
The whole music industry changed. Like all of a sudden bands went from, within 2 years, bands went from making money making records to making money only doing live.
Yep.
Because that's where it all went. All of a sudden it was easy to consume music where you didn't have to buy it at Tower Records or whatever. Like you could just download it. Like people were stealing music left and right. So like bands changed their whole business plan. It's like, we need to tour and we need to sell merch, and that's how we're going to make our money. And my role in the company was just like, I'm already doing this. The bands I'm working for are touring a lot more live, doing live stuff. And
almost like a necessity thing, kind of.
Yeah, I mean that's how the whole like income flow of the bands just went that way. Because you weren't getting giant record advances anymore. I mean, we had bands that would come in literally for a couple months, or maybe not a couple months, but like a month and a half or whatever, and then all of a sudden they would just come in and track drums and mix, and they could do everything else on their laptop at home.
Right. I mean, guilty as charged. We just, we just recorded our last record in our drummer's house, and we just got a studio room just to do drums. But like our producer set up a little makeshift vocal booth in a corner of like a den area in our drummer's house, and I tracked all the guitar and bass just DI into an Apollo interface in wearing headphones, even just because there are a couple rooms away. I couldn't be blasting through monitors while they're tracking vocals. Guilty as charged, but to be fair, us doing that was for flexibility, just to like work at our own pace, and but also like budgetary stuff,
exactly. It's way more economical.
Yeah, our label Epitaph is very good to us, and they don't ever really tell us no if we need something within the budget for making a record. They're very good about that. We don't ever ask for anything crazy, but we also try to be as responsible as possible with that budget they do give us, though. And it just that budget goes so much further when you're only paying for rental time at a studio space for drum tracking. It's much cheaper to get 9 days at a studio than it is to get 30 days when we can do all the other 21 days in our drummer's house for free.
On your own.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I wasn't good at the type of bands that I would get soul engineering access to, you know what I mean? Was kind of mediocre hardcore bands and stuff. And it's just being a studio engineer, you have to be very good at encouraging people and criticizing them at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And that's a whole psychological thing. That's what I like about live, is that when the show's over, the show's over.
Yep. Try again tomorrow. You want one shot and you're done.
Yeah, but listening to some shitty guitar solo for fucking 12 hours straight is just not my thing.
It could be soul sucking, man. We got in our tour bus accident in 2015, and prior to that, I had been just I started getting into recording just so I could write on my own, right? And then it turned into I'll help my friends do demos. After the accident, and I didn't know if the band was ever going to play again, I was like, this might have to be my job. And so I got real heavy into studio stuff, and I was recording bands all the time. It burnt me out quick, because while I did work with a handful of decent bands, a lot of them were not. and I'm not trying to be condescending or rude or anything, but dude, exactly what you're saying. Working with musicians who aren't as trained as they might believe, right? Not as seasoned as they might believe that they are, and they don't want to hear your feedback. And dude, I can't tell you how many times when I would work with somebody like that, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, great take," and then I just record it myself after they left, just for the sake of my own mental health. And I got burnt. I got burnt out on that so fast, dude. It's not a job for everybody. Like even just outside of like having to learn the technical skills of it all, it is such a, you're like almost a therapist in a way, you know, like you're helping these musicians process their creativity in as healthy of a way as possible while trying to get the best product as possible. And it's like, that is like a whole other side of the job that I think people don't even think about.
Well, you get that band that also shows up and you know it's going to be their only time that they've ever even seen a studio.
Yep.
And they show up with their Line 6 and you know, whatever gear they like and their 6-month-old strings, and you're just like, I don't know how to handle this, you know what I mean? Like, and you have to be like, hey man, like you want to try this? You need some strings? Like,
right.
We always had a stash of stuff, you know, like new drum heads and new strings. You end up with those kind of people that are just showing up with their camera, going like, "Oh, we're in the studio," and
oh sure,
they start playing, and you're just like, I can't do shit with this.
Yep.
But then you just make them happy because you know they came in for one day to do 5 songs, and you're just like, all right, they just want an experience, you know.
Yeah. At this point, I've switched to, it's you either have to be, I have to be friends with you. And I want to do it just so that we have an excuse to hang out, or B, it has to be something that like I really, really, really fucking believe in, because otherwise I'm not touching shit. I'm not putting myself through that anymore.
Well, this is also like talking in 2-inch days. It's like there's no fixing stuff.
You actually had to be good. Right. You actually had to be good back then. There was no like faking it.
It was just like, this is a $300 reel of tape. You got 14 minutes on it,
right?
At 30 IPS,
right?
So you're already spending $600 just to do your 5 songs.
Yeah.
So you guys better fucking practice,
right?
Or else, like that's the reality of it, you know.
For sure. This is something that we had for a little bit later, but I think it actually applies really well now. What do you think the biggest difference between mixing for something in a studio versus mixing a band live? Like, you know, we have a lot of the same tools. There's EQs and there's compressors and you've got gates and all that kind of stuff. While some of that stuff translates, like there are things you have to account for in a live setting that you just don't really have to think about in a studio, because you're not fighting the room and stuff that you're in, and you know there's not a band playing in front of you. So like what do you think the biggest difference is between mixing in those two settings, and what do you think is the most important thing for maybe a studio person who wants to get into live sound? Like what would you suggest they start focusing on first?
I mean, man, live sound, you're dealing with like the actual physics and science of sound more, right? Because there's acoustical environments and feedback, and you're like in a studio, you're never going to point a microphone at a speaker,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like we have to mitigate. Like that's the thing that I work on most, is just like how to make it stable. You know, like with a band like Avenged, it's like they often have like a 30+ foot thrust. So Matt, the singer, is in front of
the PA,
a gigantic PA, and microphones. Like I've said this like a million times, like they're not magic wands. Like they're just an ear, you know what I mean? So like it's like wherever you point it, if you're cupping it and you point it at speakers, something weird's going to happen,
right?
You know?
Right.
So in a studio, it's a lot more controlled. When I was doing more studio stuff, and it's been a long time since I've done like an actual record in a studio, but it was like I would always just try to like gain into the tape machine or the DAW or whatever, to where like if somebody else was going to mix it, if they threw the faders up to 0,
it's at least balanced.
It kind of made sense,
right?
You know, and that's the way I approach live as well. Like if you look at my desk, it's just every fader's just flat,
right?
And that helps me when I'm doing live mixes as well, because I can just tuck it into my Pro Tools session, my template, and it's just like, because of the way I did the gain staging, it's pretty much there already.
Right. Right.
You're just polishing it up, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, live is definitely, you know, it's a different challenge. They're two totally separate it's music and it's equipment, but studio is a lot more psychological, and you have to be a lot more patient. Live is a lot more, when it's over, it's over. You know what I mean? You just got to make sure that you have backup plans for everything.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
when the shit, dude, Brian and I had an event last year, Download Festival, 110,000 people. My transformer at front of house blew up. Literally shot like a lightning bolt right past this guy's head.
Whoa.
Whole PA went down. And we're just like, okie dokie. And but you know, Brian being Brian, he had a backup plan. We know the console takes 3 minutes to boot. We got 10 seconds, 9, 8, go. And
crazy.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was crazy.
Yeah, that sounds like my actual worst nightmare.
When you're mixing a show at 103 dB or whatever in front of 100,000 people, and all of a sudden it turns off, it's scary.
The silence is more deafening than the show itself.
Yep.
I think that also the lightning bolt would be intimidating. Because what happens if it would have hit that guy?
I hope Download's got good insurance.
No shit.
It was one of Brian's friends, actually. I can't remember exactly, or maybe another engineer on the tour. I forget who it was, but like we knew him, and it was like I'm up on the riser, and there's some scaff in front of me, and he was down on the lawn in front of me, and it literally went right past his head.
That is crazy.
Oh shit.
That is crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What would you say the biggest challenge is when transitioning between War on Drugs and Slipknot?
I approach it all the same, honestly, man. It's just like I really just try to kind of get myself emotionally in the head space of the band, you know, and I always work very closely with the band and see what they want me to accomplish. You know, it's like, are you hiring me because you want me to do my thing, which is most of the time, or do you want it to sound exactly like the record? War on Drugs, when I first started, was a little challenging because we were doing mostly theaters and they were extremely loud. And it was all low wattage combo amps, but they're this big, so like they're down low, so the front row is just getting blasted, smashed with SPL. So it took me a minute to kind of get a relationship with Adam there, where we were just like, "Hey, man, like we've got to fix this so I can create a good experience for everybody." But like pretty much every band I work with, I fall in love with their music, whether I was a fan or not. You know what I mean? Like I worked with like Erasure, and like then I did, you know, like Logic, a hip hop guy for a while, and I worked with NERD with Pharrell for a while, and it's just crazy. Like you just kind of like my job is to translate their vision to the audience. It's not to, it's, you know, I'll put my flavor on it for sure, but I'm not trying to like reinvent the wheel, you know? So War on Drugs is one of those bands, though. It is a tremendous amount of inputs and a lot of players, but like they are so good at what they do as far as like their tones are damn near perfect, and they have a lot of really good front end equipment on stage. Like all the mics and the outboard preamps and stuff are like really well done, and it's one of those. The first time I ever mixed them was an analog desk, and it was just like, this is killer. There's 100 and some inputs, but it was awesome. I love that band.
As an audio dork, I am curious. Like you talked about how you just brought up how they were using combo amps and like blast them off the stage and stuff, and you were like, we gotta fix this. What was your fix for that? Because about those tiny combo amps, part of getting the sound that I'm sure they're looking for is like you have to crank them to get that right. So like what was the fix you guys were doing to work around that? Because for anyone who doesn't know, like a lot of the struggle is you know, keeping the sound coming off the stage from being too much that the PA can't. You know, you want the crowd to hear more of the PA than what's actually coming off the stage, and so finding that balance could be tough.
A lot of what he was playing at the time was like 60s Fenders, which always had those little like tilt back legs on them. So I was like, let's just tilt it back I basically had like a meltdown. We were doing 2 nights in Seattle, and I thought I was having a good show. I was under this balcony, and this old geezer came up to me and was just like, I'm in the front row and this sucks. And I was just like, man, I'm sorry. I was like, how do you think it sounds here? He's like, it sounds perfect here. And I was like, I got really upset, and I felt like I was doing him a disservice. And being that it was a walk away, I literally, like, I muted my desk and I went straight into the production office. I was like, I need to talk with the band. Like, this is not, like, I can't be getting people coming up to me complaining about stage volume.
Right.
And we just tilted everything back, and we ended up implementing some attenuators, and, you know, like the Leslie for the B3 we put off stage. We just kind of like worked together on it. It wasn't a big deal, but it was like, and then all of a sudden Adam's like, man, I can really hear myself. And I'm like, yeah, because the speakers are pointed at your ears. Yeah, like they're pointed at your ears and not at your feet anymore. So,
right. You've said something a couple of times now. You mentioned that when the desk, when you accidentally muted the PA with Slipknot, you went to the production office and mentioned it. And then in this scenario, you said you also went to the production office and mentioned it. Do you feel like for crew, like that's like you start by going to maybe the production manager or the tour manager before going to the band? Like
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's just the way I think about things. It's like, when there's a problem, I want to go to the band last.
Right.
Because I don't want to
burden them.
Yeah. Like, you know, their job is to be performing and not thinking about me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want them to think about me. I want them to be thinking about their reaction to the audience. You know what I mean? So when I have a problem, I always go to production first and just say, this is what's happening. How do you want me to approach this?
Right.
When I started with Slipknot, the first time I ever met Clown, he came to me and was just like, you're part of the band, essentially. And I want you to come to me and tell me when it's good, and I want you to come to me and tell me when it sucks. So he established that relationship on day one with me.
Right.
But, you know, every band has their own different ways of doing things, and certain people are sensitive, and there's internal politics, and you don't know if the wives are around or whatever. And so sometimes I just go to production and say, hey, man, I need to address this issue. Do you want to do it, or you want me to do it? And then at least maybe, like, the band assistant, when they're in the runner van with the primary guy, can just go, hey man, Bob needs to have a talk with you tomorrow.
Right.
You know, that kind of, it's just being gentle about it. You don't want to freak anybody out, but there does come times where it's like, it's a necessary thing. You have to, you know, and every relationship is different. You know, sometimes you work with bands where they don't want to hear about it.
Right.
So you got to go through their assistants or their techs or whatever,
right.
You know?
Right.
You ever feel nervous having to have those conversations?
Nope. Never.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, these bands are paying you to do a job, and if something is preventing you from doing that job to the best of your ability, which I would think, I obviously don't know what every band wants, but I would think that whatever you need in order to perform your job the best, I would imagine they would want to hear about it anyway, you know?
I mean, I've definitely lost one job from being a little too vocal about things. Probably they never told me why.
Sure.
But it was a situation where, like, this kind of thing was happening a lot, and I was just like, guys, like, we have to mitigate. We have to fix this. Like, it's like, I'm not a fucking magician here.
Right.
Sure.
You know.
Right.
And, you know, they definitely didn't. I think that's probably why I lost the job. It's the only job I've ever been fired from, but I have a feeling that was the reason. But it's like, it's because I care. I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's just like,
right.
It's like, yo, man, like, your guitar's out of tune the whole entire show. Somebody has to fix this problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I used to always tell them, like, look, man, I'm on your team.
Yeah.
I'm trying
to be as good as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
And it reflects on me. Like, if you're if your shit's out of tune or something's broken or you're not playing something properly every night, they go to the sound guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
They
fuck
don't
the
go to the
sound guy.
band.
Right.
Yep. That's valid.
How would you say your daily life and responsibilities on the road have changed since, the acts have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger?
I mean, honestly, like having Brian involved in my life has made my life a lot easier. I used to be, I still try to be, but he doesn't allow me to be like extremely hands on. Like I like doing all the prep, I like doing all the programming, everything myself. Brian has started to spoil me quite a bit. So but I'm still a worker, you know what I mean? Like if he
Sure.
needs like I'm not that guy that just shows up and mixes. Like
Right.
I still am happy to help fly the PA,
Right.
run the snake. I mic everything up myself. My whole thought process is like if I don't touch everything and see it happen,
Yeah.
if it breaks, I don't know how to properly troubleshoot something systematically.
Yep.
So
I feel that.
that's my thing. And like Brian and I get into it. I'm sure if you talk to him about this, he'll tell you like often his call will be an hour before mine and I show up and everything's set up and I'm just like, I don't want you to do that, man.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you don't have to do that. Just you do your job, I'll do my job. But that being said, I truly appreciate everything he does for me. It's just my own mental thing. It's just like I like to touch everything
Yep.
and make sure it's all working properly.
I totally get that too. I've built out this like we're fully direct on everything, right? And
Yeah.
I built this big rack case. So we pull two doors off, plug some power in, plug our playback laptops in, and it's like basically go time.
And it works.
Right.
Yeah.
and I love that. And it's like, and I trust our guitar tech with my life, but still every day I go to load in and I go and like check all the connections and like, because I am the gear guy in my band. And if anything goes down, I have to be able to be ready to troubleshoot with our guitar tech to get it fixed on the stage side of things as fast as possible. You know what I mean? So it's like, I trust him, but there's like an OCD in my brain that doesn't let me just be like, he got it. I can step away now. Like it's
Totally.
a control issue. I'm aware of it. It's not my strongest quality, but it's like, it's just who I am.
I didn't say it.
I know. You were thinking it. I could see it on your face.
I didn't need to think it. I knew it.
I know. That's fair.
I also just want to I don't want to get complacent in my job. You know what I mean? Like there is going to be a time in my career where I'm going to have to be on my own. I'm blessed to have we got like 5 people on our audio team. It's like, but on my job, we're done with Slipknot in 3 months from now. So what happens next? So I don't want to be I don't want to lose my chops.
Yeah.
As far as it's a lot more than mixing. You know what I mean? It's like all the networking and stuff he's doing. It's just crazy what he's doing with the redundancy and stuff. It's he's extremely talented.
It's cool. It's cool to hear that somebody, and I think it's important for listeners to hear that, somebody who's accomplished as much as you've accomplished in this industry, you still have that humility about you that you are not afraid to roll your sleeves up and work if you have to.
Yeah.
Because it would be easy for you to sleep till the shit's done and you just roll out there and sound check and walk away.
I appreciate that. But it's I just don't even think that way. I don't even think about the fact that I work for a band that's as big as Slipknot is. It doesn't even. It's just, to me, it's just like I'm just mixing a show.
Just doing what you do.
It could be CBGBs or it could be freaking,
Red Rocks,
whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like I like mixing and I just want to make it sound good. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So for me, it's the camaraderie growing up, working for punk bands. It was all about the camaraderie. It wasn't your position. I wasn't a front of house guy. I was just part of the team.
Right. I was going to ask if the punk and hardcore scene, if you thought that is part of what imparted that type of mentality on you.
100%.
I feel like it definitely.
When we pulled up with our box truck in a trailer and we cracked the trailer, the band was carrying stuff. I was carrying stuff. Like everybody, it wasn't like I'm the crew and you're the band. It was just like we just got to do a gig. So like
that's the fucking cultural fucking thing I keep going back to, and I feel like a old fucking angry gnome or something when I sit here and thank you. When I sit here and think about this though, like man, like those days no more? Is that cultural? Is that community? Does it still exist?
I mean, I don't know because shows aren't happening the way they used to, you know? So I don't know.
And I just feel so sad about that.
Yeah.
Because I can honestly say I would not be who I am today as a human, as a father, as a whatever the hell Chris is thinking about me right now, whatever.
You don't want to know.
I would not be that person. A husband, I would not be that person today without those experiences.
100%.
I would not be that.
I agree 100%. Either would I. You know, we often work with, you know, these people from the sound company or whatever. It's like their first tour was in a stadium.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
they don't understand like the brotherhood that happens when it's like dude, when I started with the Souls, it's like we had a little schedule and it was like everybody drove for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, tonight's a 12-hour drive and it's just like you're driving from 4 to 7 a.m.
Yep.
And you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
And
we used to have a drive list with driver names. We made up these stupid fucking nicknames and they were just driver names.
Yeah.
And it was just our way of going down the list. And when it was your turn, it was your turn. There was no argument. There was no nothing. It was just the way that it was when it was. And then, you know what? If you felt like going long, you were feeling good and had recently had that energy drink, you know, too late, then, you know, you just kept on going.
I'll tell you what.
Yep.
My old band did the same thing. We did the rotating thing. We even had like, if you were driving, you had a designated driving buddy who was supposed to sit shotgun with you and stay awake. It rarely ever happened, but that was what it was supposed to be. But I love driving at night. And I started turning that shit into a business. If there were guys who A, didn't feel like driving, or B,
son of a bitch.
wanted to get
start selling,
wanted to get drunk after the show and didn't want to drive, I was like,
yeah, cool.
Give me your per diem, bitch. I'm driving.
Damn, that's nice. That's pretty slick, actually.
I was like, I'm out here fucking hustling and balling on a budget. I'll take your per diem all day. Give it to me.
You got to do what you got to do.
Those early side hustles, man.
Yeah, man.
I had some good ones.
whatever it takes to get by, man. So audio can be like a super gatekeepy type of community. Like, did you I know you had your partners in the studio and stuff. Did you have like a mentor in like the live world? Like anybody you looked to that you were like, no, you just fully had to figure it out on your own?
Yeah.
Wild. That's crazy.
I mean, I just worked for like, you know, like I worked for the Souls and then like I did a couple Warp tours in the early 2000s and I was just hustling. I was just like, okay, I'm working for Alkaline Trio doing monitors and then I'm doing Rise Against and I'm doing whatever Thursday and I never had a mentor.
Sure.
But I had people I respected, but nobody that I worked with long enough to like get any guidance from, honestly.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I know that like I talked to like some of the younger, you know, up and coming front of house guys that have worked for my bands and stuff. And I just, you know, not that these people are like, you know, mentors to them, but they're like kind of like North Stars for them. But like you'll come up as a guy that like younger guys reference
that's nice.
The Nate Northways of the world, the Brian Campbells, like the dudes like you guys who've all been out there like crushing it for years, whether these guys get a chance to like tour with you and pick your brain or like they've just seen you mix, you know, like you guys have ended up being the North Stars for like, I guess the next generation of people. I just didn't know if you had somebody like that where you were like, fuck, this guy's good. I need to know what he's doing. You know what I mean?
I never really did, honestly. But like that being said, like I am happy to tell anybody anything I'm doing.
Sure.
It's just like I mix with my emotions and that, you know, when I started that first studio that I was telling you about where I was just making coffee, it's like the engineer would just be like, here's a bunch of patch cables, here's a kick snare hat loop, put it through every piece of gear, and tomorrow I want you to tell me what works and what doesn't. And then you start to figure out, it's like, oh, all compressors aren't the same. Like this one's way faster, this one's way slower, and it doesn't work for drums. And you just start to like make mental notes in your head of like what you need to accomplish,
Right.
is to make an impactful mix. And it takes time. And like, if anybody's, on tour with me, I'll just be like, here's my show file. Here you go. Hit play, go for it.
Right.
And if you have questions, I'll tell you anything. It's not, for me, it's not, I don't know. It's just how you learn, It's just like part of being a good person.
100%.
It's like, as a dad, that's what you do, right?
Right.
You don't like, you don't criticize your child if they do something wrong that you've never taught them how to do properly.
Yep.
You teach them the right way, and then you let them take it from there. So that's my whole philosophy of that stuff. But yeah, no, I never really I had peers, but never really a mentor,
So you build guitar amps. How did you get into that? I mean, you said you like to take stuff apart and like put it back together and stuff and figure out how stuff works. How did you get into building amps specifically, though?
I don't know. I don't know. It was just like something I was interested in.
Yeah.
And there was like in the early 2000s, there was this kind of like a website called AX84 that was like, it was like a collaborative forum of people that would build shit. And I just became fascinated with it. And I have my first amp right back there that I ever built.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Still works. But yeah, it's I just got super into it, and then you start learning how to manipulate the circuits and stuff, and you start kind of coming up with your own recipes for circuit design. And this band, the Hold Steady, was a fantastic band. Their guitar player was like, they were a client at our studio, and I fixed a bunch of his amps, and he was just like, I want you to build me an amp. And I was like, all right, nobody's asked me to build anybody an amps. And I just went for it. And he's been playing my amps for 20 years now.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's so sick.
It's amazing.
Being a guy who came up in the analog age of recording studios, and you like to build amps, how do you feel about the digital amp world that we're all kind of living in now? Like, I saw that Jim has been messing around with Quad Cortex and
quads,
and I fucking love the Quad Cortex. We have 6 of them in our rig. We have redundant for everybody, and I love it. How do you feel about that stuff coming from a guy who's I guess an analog guy at heart, because that's where you started or whatever?
I like playing tube amps better.
Sure.
But I do appreciate the flexibility of like the quads. Like, if you think about the frequency spectrum of like a traditional amp, it's like, it doesn't go below like 75, 80 hertz, and it doesn't go above like 4 or 5K.
Right.
What you get with the Quad Cortex is a more broad, or anything, Kemper or whatever. Like, you get this broadband polished sound because it goes way lower and way higher.
Right.
And man, like, it's just a tremendous tool. It's fantastic. It's like, for me, it's like my hobby is like right now I'm working on this fucking amp from 1949.
Wow.
1950 or something like that.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
The tech from Coheed has quite a lot of weird amps that he sends me. The last one I did for him didn't even have a schematic. It took me about a year, but
Jesus.
yeah, it's just like, this is like the kind of shit I like. I like circuitry and old school stuff, but a lot of modern bands have so many different sounds that like the Quad Cortex and stuff is like a solution to get what you want.
Yeah,
What I mean? Often, like, super high gain amps have horrible clean tones.
Yep.
So you would have to have a separate amp, which creates a switching system, and like it just gets complicated. You know,
I mean, I do that within my quad preset. I have a classic 5150 for all my distorted stuff, and then when I go clean, it's like a Vox AC30. It's like
exactly.
There is no world where I would be able to justify traveling with both of those things without my guitar tech wanting to kill me every day. You know what I mean? Like we're not big enough to justify something like that. Nor do I want to worry about the maintenance of both of those two different amps while on the road too.
Yeah, you can chuck a quad in your backpack. And go rip a gig.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like it's also like if my quad dies on the road, I like could go to the music store down the street, buy a new one, and download my presets on it in like 15 minutes. It's like it's and I think the biggest thing for me and the reason that I like advocate for it the most is like just consistency's sake. Like I will never not love a tube amp, right? Like that's where all this stuff comes from, right? No tube amps, no quad cortex or any modelers, but like just the consistency of night to night and like being able to travel lighter, which I think is important for like, younger, smaller bands who don't have crazy budgets. Like I just think that this type of like guitar technology is like really kind of leveled the playing field to be able to travel economically, but also still like achieve like big sounding stuff.
And it's not like voltage dependent,
right?
With a tube amp, it's like if you have a wall voltage that's 5 volts down, it's going to change the sound of your setup, and then you're talking about tubes, and with like what's going on in the worldwide environment right now as far as like importation and stuff like that. It's like, dude, like. I got a retube. I got a Marshall over here that I'm working on that's got 4 6550s in it. So right now those tubes are like $100 a piece.
Oh yeah,
it's stupid.
Yep.
Maybe not that much, but it's going to be for the client a pretty big.
Yeah.
Just to retube it, it's going to be pretty substantial.
Yeah.
So yeah, like. The digital solution is killer, and if you do it right, it sounds cool. Especially with like when we went to the digital stuff with Slipknot, like we made our own IRs.
Yeah, for sure.
So we took the exact cabinet, the exact microphones, the same placement, same preamps, and we did our IRs. And there was a tour where we were doing both simultaneously. So like Jim and Mick's rig were live mics in front of cabs. And a digital solution of some sort,
right?
And I would at a chorus, I would just go boom, and I would just swap just to see
if you could tell the difference
at a part of the song where it wasn't going to be a substantial.
Sure, you're right.
Like do it at a chorus or at a downbeat or something, and we got damn close, man. Like, and we just did a blind test. Recently with Jim's rig, and I asked the guitar tech to not tell me. I was just like, he would just be on his talkback going A, B, A, B, and I chose the quad cortex, honestly.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the technology's come a long way. I remember the first amp sim thing I got was those little Line 6 red lima bean looking thing, and and how bad that thing sounded compared to what we have now. It's crazy how far technology's come in that regard, for sure.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Totally.
We're going to shift a little bit. What made you choose Richmond as your new home base?
Well, my wife got pregnant.
That'll happen. That'll happen.
And it was honestly just like, we were just done with living in New York City, man. It was just like at that point, like the whole school system was changing a bunch, where it was like they were trying to do like an equal opportunity thing for everybody, which I'm all about. But it was just like, there's a chance that my baby might have to go to school in the Bronx when I live in Brooklyn.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily school districts. It was just like they distributed it in a certain way. And so that underprivileged families could have access to certain schools, and like totally cool with that. But it was also just like, man, like I wanted to buy a house, and at the time we moved here in 2009. It was like a 2-bedroom, 700 square foot apartment was $600,000.
Right.
It's like, come on, man, who can afford that, and who wants to?
Absolutely.
So basically I would just drive up and down the East Coast every weekend, and I found a place here that I loved, and the first time my wife ever saw it was the day she moved in.
That's crazy.
Oh wow, amazing!
And 9 days later, I went on tour.
Our poor wives, man.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, we love it here, man. It's like it's beautiful. We're in our second place now, and it's just like, we got some land, and it's very affordable, and it's quiet, and I can, being an amp repair guy, I can make a lot of noise and shit here. Like nobody cares, so it's like, yeah, it's cool. I dig it.
Josh and I are both dads, so I'm curious how becoming a dad has like shifted your perspective on just the industry and touring in general. Like how has that affected the way that you approach that side of your job?
Oh man, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, it's difficult, like touring as a dad is
it's tough.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's
especially when the kids are younger, and like it's at some point they go from like, they're like, not talking, not really walking. And then it feels like every time you call, like they reach a certain age where every time you FaceTime them, like you could FaceTime them one day, the next day it feels like they've aged like 10 years in that 24-hour period. It's like, how are you doing this? And it's seemingly only while I'm gone. Like it's tough, man.
Dude, you get home sometimes and like your kid literally looks different.
Yeah.
You're just like, whoa, like it's painful, honestly. Like I guess
it sucks,
it sucks. It is what we do, and we tour for our families.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't do it for myself. I am addicted to it, but it's just because it's all I do, but I do, sometimes have some moments where I'm just like, man, my daughter's at the amusement park with her best friend and her dad. And I'm not there. You know what I mean? And that sucks. But now, like, she's at the age now where she's really getting into going to shows.
Right.
So it is cool to be able to like provide that experience for her. Like,
absolutely.
It's like, all right, we're gonna go. We're gonna go to see Taylor Swift this weekend, and it's the whole backstage.
That's cool. Yeah,
like like stuff like that people don't get to experience, and it's we're creating our memories. That's the thing about being a parent, is like you got to think about the memories that you're creating with them. So thankfully she's into music now, and I got connections. So
what did you think about the Taylor Swift show? Because it took me about 3 months to get tickets to it, but I did get them on the friends and family thing, which was great. I didn't get the backstage experience and all that. However, the show to me was fucking incredible.
It was the shortest 3-hour show I've ever seen.
I think the same. Yeah, it was just insane.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. So Jordan Kolink, who's her personal monitor engineer.
Yeah.
He and I both used to work for Killswitch. And he was also my neighbor for quite a while.
Oh, amazing.
He
amazing.
lived just like a mile down the street. And so my daughter would like see his dogs and cats and shit.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So and then Sam, our RF guy on Slipknot, also works for. We got a bunch of mutual
sure
people in the community that work for Taylor. So thankfully I've been able to treat some people to some stuff.
That's awesome.
For sure.
That's super cool.
It was fantastic. I mean, it was like, what a show. And it's like
insane.
I love the progression of it. Like it just every 10 minutes there's something new. Like it just never gets boring. It's so cool.
It was wild. I hope she keeps doing the same. Like obviously the show has to progress, but I hope that she continues to tour on the way that she has built the show.
The concept of it. Yeah.
Hey, I don't want her to change it because I would go see it again. I'd go see it again all day long.
Dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seems like for the crew, it seems like it's probably a pretty hectic gig, but
yeah, for sure.
She seems to be a really genuine, nice person, and
that's what I hear too. Yep.
It's like it all like for me, it all comes from the top down, and it's like if if I don't work with people I love, I'm not interested in it.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
I don't care what band's on stage. You
Right.
could be the shittiest band, or I could hate your music, but if
Right.
there's a good team around me, like if I'm going to be away from my family, I just want to be with people that I enjoy being with.
Absolutely.
And thankfully, I've been able to kind of accomplish that. You know,
For sure.
When you look back at your entire career arc, essentially from CBGBs to doing stadiums with Slipknot, is there a particular moment that you're like most proud of, you think?
I mean, when I got the confirmation that I got Slipknot, that was like probably the first time that I was like, man, okay, this is cool. Like,
Oh yeah.
So that's something I really wanted at the time,
Right.
because I had such tremendous respect for Shirt, and I
Mhm.
knew that there was a lot of people kind of in the mix.
Did you have to like campaign for that, or was it like an audition period, or how did that go down?
It's funny, like I was doing the drugs show with the drugs at Hollywood Bowl, and Jay Rigby, who mixes Queens of the Stone Age and My Chemical Romance and stuff, was at front of house with a woman that was at the time their day-to-day manager,
Kim
Sean. Yeah.
Yep.
And I met her, and a couple weeks later I heard through the grapevine that she was impressed with the show, and my name got thrown in the hat. And then Jordan, who does Avenged, also did Slipknot for a while, and he recommended me.
Yep.
And it went back and forth for quite a while, like quite a few months, honestly.
What did that feel like? Was there nerves and all that?
Not really. I was just like, I honestly, like, I knew who else was being considered, and I was just like, I'm probably not going to get this job. Like, it's probably going to be some top name dude. And then it got to a point where it was like we were approaching the summer season, and I was getting a bunch of offers, and I was just in discussions with management, and I was just like, hey, where are we at here? And he's like, yeah, you're the guy. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like, so that's how that happened. And they're awesome, man. Like their whole camp is just fantastic.
Yeah, I did a tour with them in 2015, and it literally changed the way that I viewed the way that support bands should be treated.
Yeah.
The first day, they're like, oh, you got to go down to security and get your credentials. And at that time, Jeff Head was security guard. I don't know if you So he's just the biggest, scariest looking dude.
Yep.
So I walk into security, and he's like, I'm like, oh shit, here, because we had heard horror stories of Slipknot, of just how crazy they were and how crazy everything was. So we walk in, and I walk in to introduce myself to him, and he's just sitting there behind this desk, and I'm just fucking terrified, like.
Yeah.
But he ended, they had their few rules and whatever, but there was a mandatory luau that night that everybody had to be at.
That's awesome.
And we're like, okay, sure. Like, we were just kids, and Slipknot was like our favorite band growing up. So we're like, fuck, man. All right, cool. So we didn't know. All right, cool. Mandatory luau. What are we gonna go do? All right,
we're gonna hang out and
So we all showed up, and that was part of the thing. It's like, hey, man, they did a speech. Everybody was there. Slipknot guys, Lamb of God guys, Bullet guys. Everybody was there. The whole tour was there, and it was basically the gist of it was we're gonna spend the entire summer together. So everybody get to know each other now, because we're going to be family for the next 2 months.
Yep.
And they treated us that way the entire fucking time.
That's
it was
how
incredible,
they roll, man. It
was so awesome.
It's great. I love it. I think a lot of the production and stuff has changed since then, but but they still treat it the same way. It's like if there's somebody that's just not working out, it's just like they weed them out, and they create this team. Dude, like this tour has been 60 years long. Like we've
right.
Like with the exception of COVID, like we've been going on a single cycle for 6 years. And it's everybody's just a big family at this point, you know. It's so killer.
It was one of those situations where when the tour was over, we were like, that was the first time when a tour had ended, I feel like we were genuinely sad.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, we just got to know everybody. And it's like, man, fuck, this is...
Dude, how do you think I feel right now, man? Like,
right, that's what I can imagine.
Dude,
you're winding down on 6 years is a long time.
I'm about to go on my last tour with them, you know? It's just like, man, what am I going to do? What am I going to do next, number one?
Right.
But, like, these people are my brothers, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
absolutely. You realistically, you probably have spent more time with them than your actual family.
Totally. Yep. I mean, their schedule's been they work. You know, we're basically a 3 week on, 3 week off kind of organization nonstop.
Right.
And then for like Brian and I, that involves a week of prep in front of a. So it's like, you know, it's a pretty full time gig, and I'm not mad about it. Like that, like you feel welcome, man. They're great.
It was, and we were the opening band.
Yeah,
you know, and they treated us. I mean, like I said, I can't speak enough of them. They changed my perception of how you should treat support bands. It was amazing, and not even support bands, people, complete strangers that you know they're the biggest fucking band in the world almost. They had no reason to just welcome us into their family the way that they did, and they did that. I mean, we got to know. We got to know their wives, Griff. We knew we got to know Griff. Griff was on the whole tour, so we were, you know, he was. Yep. We had those little fucking levee board things.
Oh yeah.
Corey and Griff would come out and rip around on those with us, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
I mean, that's great. You know, like I told you, like the moment I met Clown, it was like I'll never forget. We were in a rehearsal studio. And he walks through the control room where I was working in, which was like 300 feet from where the live room was. And he walked by me, said hello, didn't realize who I was, and came back and he was like, "Are you Bob?" And we just sat down and he was just like, "Man, I want to welcome you. You're part of the family." Like it felt so great because I was intimidated as well. You know what I mean? It's
right.
This is a band that's been together for 20 plus years. They have a solid crew, and I'm the new guy.
Right.
And they welcomed me with open arms, and it's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Experience.
It's awesome.
Well, we're going to start winding down here because we've been talking your ear off for a while, but I just wanted to ask you, so we got two more like little quick sections we want to get to after this, but I want to kind of end this section by asking, like, do you have any advice you would give to like a younger aspiring audio engineer about how to break into the industry, or I mean any crew in general? Like if somebody wanted to get into like being on the crew side of touring, do you have any advice that you would give to them?
As far as audio goes, it's like I feel like in this day and age, your best
go to Full Sail.
I don't know about Full Sail, but I would go to a production company.
Sure.
You know, like Full Sail to me is like if you want to learn, and no disrespect to Full Sail.
It was a joke. To show you.
Yeah. I got you. But there's a difference of like learning theory and then having practical experience. And it's like I think like if you go to a production company or a local venue or something in your local area that can teach you basic troubleshooting skills, and you know a lot of these big companies, sound companies and stuff, have great training procedures and stuff, and 90% of those people get plopped into big gigs, you know what I mean? Because they are extremely talented, because they're working for like the pinnacle of technology, you know, like if I don't know if you guys have ever been to Rock Lidditz, but it's like,
many times.
I mean, you go there and you're just like, this is like the smartest people in the industry are
100%.
on one plot of land in Amish country, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy.
It's,
so yeah,
it's Disneyland for touring dudes. I fucking love that place.
It's gnarly, man. It's like you can't even describe it to people that haven't been there. It's just like
right.
You go to the hotel there and you're just going to the lobby bar to get a burger, and you're just like, oh, there's this guy and this guy, and it's
The
just
last time we were rehearsing there, the like woman who was involved with scheduling all the studios and stuff popped her head in with like a group of like 50 people, and then I ran into her later. She's like, "Oh yeah, it was just Adele's crew. We're just touring them around the facility." Like, "Oh, okay. I guess Adele's here somewhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Who's that?
Yeah. I was just there a couple weeks ago, and it was like, Kendrick in one studio, Post in another studio. Like, you're just like, oh my god.
We freighted our gear back from Europe before that last time we were rehearsing there, and I went over to the little freight spot to pick it up, and they were also loading out Justin Bieber shit at the same time. Like, this is fucking crazy right now. Like, this is wild. It's very crazy.
Yeah. So that'd be my advice. I mean, if you don't have access to a big production company, just get with your local venue and just start meeting bands, like, because every band needs somebody at some point, and you never know. As long as you like are helpful and polite and pleasant to people, it's like touring is like 50% your skill and 50% your attitude.
Absolutely.
Like, nobody wants to hire you if you're a jerk, or if you're always in a bad mood, or you always stink, or you don't have basic etiquette. So just be cool and work hard, and things will happen if you want it to. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like a lot of times I tell people that your personality and your whether you're a good hang or not, it usually ends up being more important than your technical skills sometimes, at least depending on the career you want. Okay, so unfortunately Bob had to run really quick, but before we got to the day sheet round, and so we thought that since the day sheet round is one of our personal favorite parts of the show, we couldn't end this one without doing one. So Josh and I are going to do a day sheet round with each other. Josh, why don't you go ahead and hit me with the first question?
All right, I got you. Coffee or tea?
You son of a bitch, that was one of mine. It's coffee, and specifically today is it's pumpkin spice latte day, or pumpkin cream cold brew day at Starbucks. So
they're back.
They're back, baby.
You're such a basic white bitch.
Yes. How long have you known me? Yes, I am.
That's true.
So coffee. All right, here we go. Here's my first one for you then, dickhead.
All right.
What is your favorite show you ever went to without me?
It had to be Pledge of Allegiance with Slipknot, System of a Down, American Head Charge.
Yeah,
and
sounds like a fucking great time.
Were you there for that?
No,
did
Josh,
you go to that one?
Josh, I did not go to that one. Thanks for reminding me, though. Very fitting you bring that up for Bob's episode, though, so that's perfect.
Well, you brought it up. Well, I just answered the question. So, good question.
All right, fine. Fuck me then. All right, give me the next one.
Oh, yeah, next one. If you died and were reincarnated, what would you be?
Probably a piece of shit. Like an actual steaming pile of shit.
That's now.
What would I be if I was died and reincarnated? Yep. I feel like I would probably something miserable. I'm sure I've done something bad enough to piss off the universe to give me something that wouldn't be awesome. So like
no, this is if you whatever you want to be.
Oh,
like if you had the choice, like if you were dying reincarnated, what would you want to be?
I want to come back as a dog.
A dog.
I mean, I just lay around all day long and be the lazy sack of shit that I am now, but not have anybody yell at me about it.
You know what's funny about that? I texted my wife this morning and said, I wish I was a cat, because I was up last night from about 1. I got up to piss at like 1 something, and I was up until 4:30. It was just one of those nights I couldn't stop my brain, and I just couldn't go back to sleep.
Yep.
And I got up this morning and started working, and the cat jumped up next to me and just laid down and turned upside down and just was fucking out. I wish I could just fall asleep and sleep whenever I want for however long I want to. I just answered your question, but whatever. Fuck it.
But it's basically the same answer I gave. Also, you should go talk to your urologist about that enlarged prostate that's waking you up in the middle of the night. Anyway, moving on.
So this is 40, huh?
Cool. Exactly. All right. What's your favorite nu metal band?
Stained.
You put them in nu metal? I guess they kind of do fall. I don't know what else they would get dropped into. I guess they do fall in that category.
I mean,
I feel like nu metal is the most undefined subgenre of rock.
Damn,
and
that's
metal
a good.
music.
That's a really good question, and I don't know if I could even answer that right now. I gotta think about that. If Stained is not my favorite new metal band,
I mean, if
Limp Bizkit, dude, for sure.
All right, I accept
absolutely.
That one is absolutely new metal. I'll give you that one. Okay,
Slipknot. If it's not Stained, it's without a doubt Limp Bizkit.
Okay, acceptable.
I've been listening to Significant Other, which is probably frowned upon to play in front of your children, but I do because.
How old is your son again?
10, almost turning 11 in December.
I was listening to Limp Bizkit or not on that age. Is it a good idea? No, but I was.
Dude, he'll put break stuff on by himself.
Good for him. He's a good kid.
Unedited version and just go outside and kick soccer balls.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, it's it's debatable, but it's okay. Semi-controversial here. Have to answer it. Who is your favorite member of your household?
My wife.
You have to say that.
Maybe, but I'm sticking with that answer.
I was talking to Melissa this morning when I was doing these questions, and actually she came up with it when you were reincarnated one. But I told her I asked this question purposely, and just to see if you have to say that. I told her, like, if you ask me that, I have to say my wife.
Listen,
you have to.
Listen, if I didn't have my wife, I wouldn't have my kids. And
okay.
And if my wife wasn't the badass that she is, I wouldn't still also be able to tour because she's able to take care of our kids and also still work a job. She's a badass. So final answer, my wife. And you can try to put me in a bad position all you want, but it's my wife.
I'm not trying to put you in a bad position.
Well, you're trying to make me look bad, and that's exactly what's happening here.
I'm not trying to make you look bad. I was just testing.
Whatever.
I was testing your knowledge to see if...
No, I know what you're doing. I've caught on.
I wasn't doing anything.
While I stall to come up with my fourth question here, I'm going to ask you coffee or tea since you stole that from me. You fuck.
Coffee all day long. Energy drinks, fucking anything caffeinated. I'm in. Tea is... I get tea is caffeinated, but it ain't...
No.
I want
not
the
real
fucking
caffeine.
Legal crystal meth. I don't want the fucking...
I watched you steal about a dozen Celsiuses from our rider at the show in LA. I watched you.
Was it stealing or
it felt a little bit like stealing, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I just felt comfortable, so I figured that, su casa, mi casa. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
My turn, huh?
Yes.
Favorite member of the Ghost Inside?
So you're really trying to get me in trouble?
Yeah, of course.
I couldn't possibly choose. No, you know what? I'll say this. It depends on the day. As it does.
That's a good answer.
That's
a good answer.
It depends on the day. Sometimes even the hour of the day.
That's a great answer.
And I think that's normal for any friendship or any relationship where you live on top of each other nonstop for weeks at a time.
Damn. I wasn't expecting that. That's a good answer.
So it just depends. So, 1 second it
I
could
like
be
them all equally in different moments.
Yes. 100%. You know what? Because some second, Andrew could be getting on my nerves, but in the next second, he might be my favorite person in the entire world, and that could be the same for anybody when you're living on top of each other with no breaks for weeks on end. So I love them all equally at different times of the day.
Fuck! I failed both times trying to get you in trouble.
I am a PR master. Okay. I gotta
go.
All right. See ya. Before you do that.
Right. I got one more for you too.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, this is my last one for you.
All right.
If you had to go back and you don't have a choice in this, you have to go back. Actually, you know what? If it's not even going back. If we had to resurrect a band from our past and we had to go and play a show with this band right now, would it be our band Impulse? Do you remember we had a band called Impulse? Or would it be A History of an Error? And whichever one you say, I'm releasing a song at the end of this episode.
You can't do that.
You choose wisely.
You have Impulse music?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
But
I am going to release a song. Then. You better be careful. No. Whatever you answer, I'm still releasing A History of an Error song.
Oh my God. It don't matter. It is what it is. At least we had the balls to get up there and record that garbage.
Dude, we didn't know any better.
Fuck no.
And it was
nobody
fucking
taught
fun
me
as shit. I would go back and relive that any day.
Yeah, I would probably do, I guess, was Darren in Impulse too?
Darren was in everything we ever did together. Let's be honest, it was the same band with me, you, and Darren, and 2 rotating spots, and we changed the name every week, basically.
I think probably History of an Era would be cool. Like that, if I could relive that very first show ever.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yep, I felt like a rock star that night. We probably played to 15 people, but I thought I was big shit.
I thought I was famous.
Yeah, it felt like it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Last question.
Song will be at the end of the episode. Hang around for that.
It won't. No, it won't. How many shows did you actually attend with me as a kid?
Oh, this is gonna be hard to remember. I want to say probably only like so
not only
no. I think I could count on one hand. We're gonna try right now. We went to
fuck you.
We went to Porno Mint at the Record Theater.
Okay.
And then we did at least 3 or 4 Ozfests together. I'm going to say 4 to be kind here.
I don't think we did that many.
We definitely did at least 3. We did 2004, 5, and 6 for sure.
I feel like I only went to 2.
Or was it 2, 3? No, with 3, 4, 5. 2003, 4, and 5 we went to together. So that's 4 shows right there. And then I remember a Terror, a Casey Strain, Remembering Never at the Auto Bar.
Auto Bar, yeah, I remember.
I think that's the only shows we went to together.
Really?
And then I came to see your band, Haddonfield, play a lot of times. And then I came to see you when you were out with Motionless a lot of times. And
damn,
I booked your band twice.
I went to a lot of shows, though, as a kid.
Yeah, I know. And you didn't take me. So what's that say about you? Some friend you are.
I think we should probably go back and ask your mom why she had so many damn rules.
Josh, have you met you? Would you want your teenage child hanging out with you as a teenager?
Yeah, probably not.
Okay. Yeah. Leave my mom out of this.
They would only allow us to hang out when I came to their house. So
they could keep observation on you. Jesus Christ.
Right. Whatever.
No, I didn't start going
and
to
your
shows.
Grandma.
Oh yeah, they're the best. I didn't start going to shows on a consistent basis until I could drive myself because my mom always she would have to drive me. So
that's crazy.
If you didn't take me or a friend's parents didn't take me, I would have to ask my mom.
I didn't have a car to take you because I was not allowed to get a driver's license till my parents left Maryland.
Exactly. So I went to shows, but they were mostly ones that we were playing. And after that, I didn't start going to shows a lot until I could drive myself.
Who did I go to shows with all the time then?
Well, I don't know, but it wasn't me, and I'm still offended.
Whatever, fuck it.
Anyway, well, on that note, you can go fuck yourself, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
I hope they liked Bob's episode, because this is trash.
This was your idea, so what's that say about you?
Fuck it.
Anyway,
I never said I wasn't trash.
Hey everyone, Chris here, and I just wanted to take a second to say thanks for watching today's episode. You can check out more episodes of Late for Load-In on the right side of your screen and find any applicable links to this episode in the description down below. There you'll also find a link to our Patreon, which is the most direct way to support the show, and it's only $1 a month. Please consider giving this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to follow us on all social platforms, at Late for Load-In, at Chris_TGI, at Josh Carell. See you guys next week.